What's good, YouTube? It's your boy P Money. So I've been following this story for the last few days now, and it's very interesting to me because it seems like it's very one-sided and biased towards the students and not the actual people that they arrested in this situation, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and read from this. So we'll start right here. The Tucson Police Department said officers were called to Tucson High by the Tucson Unified School District. The TPD said there were no reported injuries and no weapons involved. The TPD said 40-year-old Willie Smith was arrested on a felony charge of disrupting an educational institute, and a 15-year-old boy is facing a charge of disorderly conduct fighting. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I understand that's the charge and everything, but what really led up to this whole entire situation? And that's what really gets me about this story. You know what I'm saying? Like, should Willie Smith and his son have done what they did? No. That doesn't justify them. You know, they weren't justified in those actions. But to say that there's not really anything saying what led up to that, you know? And that's why I feel like this story is kind of like fraudulent, I would say. You know what I'm saying? And it's showing that the journalistic integrity of these local news outlets out here are in question once again, you know? So let's keep going. According to the interim complaint, Smith was called to the school to pick up his two sons who were being sent home after a disturbance with another group of students on Monday. Such vague information. So what were the other group of students doing? Why is it only that these two are being arrested? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because according to this, only two people were arrested. So I don't get it. I don't understand. We know for a fact that there's a lot of racism that goes on in these schools, you know, and this is just seeming like they're pulling the trigger a little bit too fast to get these people wrapped up when it don't seem like they're doing a lot of investigating, in my opinion. The document said Smith was advised by school staff and safety officers that he and his son should leave through a back exit and not through the actual campus. That sounds like a threat. Like, why can't he leave through the campus? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, are you saying like something would happen if they go through the campus? Smith allegedly refused and took his son through the courtyard during lunch. Smith allegedly told staff that this was an ongoing issue, and if not addressed, there would be a problem. Interesting. Smith said, if it's going down here, according to the document. Officers said Smith was referring to his sons protecting themselves if provoked. Very interesting. So we're seeing a little bit, which is very vague still, because clearly this isn't the whole thing. This isn't the whole story, and we know this. So Smith and his sons are having issues within the school. It makes so much sense now. It's sounding more like a racial issue, like we've seen quite often here in Tucson, you know? And I've been reporting on a lot of these stories that I can find information on. A lot of these stories, like, they'll get swept under the rug, and I've not seen anything about them or heard of anything else after this. But since this one has a black man involved, it's obviously going to have, you know, it's going to carry its legs much longer, you know. So I'm going to definitely see what happens after this, because he got arrested, but we'll see, you know. While the three walked through the courtyard, there was an exchange between a group of students and Smith's sons, and a fight broke out. What was the exchange, man? Obviously, it must be race-related if you gotta say it so vaguely. If you can't even stand on, the school doesn't even want to stand on what was said, you know what I'm saying? Because they know if it's said, it will justify what these two did, more than likely, or what these three students did, what the two students and the dad did, you know? Now, I'm not condoning Smith beating up little kids or nothing like that, but I mean, if they're over here throwing that N-word out here, which I've been hearing a lot, I mean, there's people that I've actually got a lawsuit against right now that are Mexican that were saying the N-word to me, and I'm like, yo, nah, we don't play that around here, man. You're not black, okay? So you don't have the right to be using that, and I don't even like that word to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting, you know. Smith's sons allegedly got into an altercation, and Smith followed his sons into the area. According to the complaint, Smith got into mutual combat with a student. Both Smith and the student were throwing punches at each other before Smith allegedly pinned the student to the ground by his neck. Smith admitted to fighting the student and claimed the student was assaulting his son. The complaint said the video and witness statements could not confirm who threw the first punch. So if that's the case, why is there any arrest right now? You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, video and witnesses. So what's going on here? Like, this is sounding very biased, man. Very biased, very racist. Smith said he didn't feel like he needed to leave through the back gate since he was not told by the school staff that his sons had done anything wrong to be sent home, according to the complaint. Yeah, what led to that? I want to know that too. Like, that information is not in here. So it's just more he say, she say, according to this article. And we already know how that most of the time works out, especially when it's black people. You know what I'm saying? The district said all students and staff are safe, and the campus returned to normal operations a few hours after the incident. So they ended up going on a few-hour lockdown after this incident. And I don't know what that even did, because clearly with these stories that are coming out, there's no really updated information with this. This happened like a few days ago, earlier this week, right? And they got all these people, you know, sending like Twitter and all that stuff. So yeah, here we got all these people. TMZ Tucson. Look at this. TMZ's everywhere, man. Tucson High was crazy today. Back-to-back fights. A student's father even got involved. The campus was put into lockdown temporarily. Stay safe, Tucson. Part 1. Yeah, okay. Still don't know a lot of information in terms of how this even started. What made this information happen, you know? Like, we don't understand that information. And that's very disingenuous from these news outlets, man. It just is. Like, we need to know all the information. Large-scale fight at school. 2 arrested following large-scale fight at school in Tucson. Only 2. But they say there was what, now it says at least 2 people have been arrested in connection. So don't even, their title and their first statement freaking go against what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So clearly they're trying to make it worse. Graphic. 2 arrested following large-scale fight at school in Tucson. At least 2 people have been arrested in connection with a large-scale fight at a school in Tucson, Tuesday, May 3rd. You know, so I'm definitely going to follow up on this, because I know there's going to be much more info on this. They're not going to let this one go. You know what I'm saying? There's all this stuff happening, you know, in the white supremacist society right now, that they're not going to let this one go and just sweep it under the rug. You know what I'm saying? This one is going to have probably a good amount of traction around it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely be following up and making sure I know more whenever I'm doing another video about it, because right now it's just very vague. And as you could see and followed along with me, that there's not a lot of information, and it seems very biased, all these articles. And I'll post all these articles up after the video uploads, just so you can see for yourself, like, just how the journalism here is in Tucson, you know? Like, it's not great. They just copy and paste, and then, oh, it was published by this person, you know? And they'll have their picture on it, but it's really, they didn't do anything, you know? It's disgusting. But I don't have too much else on this one. This is your boy P Money. Tell me what you guys think, and I'm off this.